4 e-trike tires, 3 coconut pies, 2 new kittens, gifted herself an American wife. Who knows I'm the boss?
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. She gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 stray kittens. Gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 coconut pies, 2 stray kittens. Gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 e-trike tires, 3 coconut pies, 2 new kittens. Gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 Bill-Lick by yarn boxes, 4 e-trike tires, 3 coconut pies, 2 new kittens. Gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 bags of sorry chips, 5 Bill-Lick by yarn boxes, 4 e-trike tires, 3 coconut pies, 2 new kittens. Gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the seventh day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 Shopee parcels, 6 bags of sorry chips, 5 Bill-Lick by yarn boxes, 4 e-trike tires, 3 coconut pies, 2 new kittens. Gifted herself American wife. Who knows I'm the boss? On the 8th day of Christmas.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How is it going? We're down to 24 days before Christmas. Not that we haven't been already dealing with it for a few months here, but good morning. Welcome in. I see Chosen One is in the house. I see Ted is in here. Good morning, Ted. Hey. What is going on, guys? Gonna let the room build a little bit. And Geo is in the house. Good morning, Geo. Look, Geo, we got Geo is in the house. Hi, Geo. Yeah, you a good boy, Geo. He's such a good boy. He's really quiet compared to those kittens. All right, guys. I'm going to cover a story today. I have a bonus clip of a German guy that was running around that a Filipino tried to help. But there's a lot of this homelessness going on, or the expats are struggling really bad. And I'm going to cover a guy, Travis. I believe he said he was from Indiana. Didn't catch his last name. I watched a bunch more clips and tried to look him up on the net and could not find him. He's an American that is 50 years old. And let me see. I'm going to bring up his stuff here as we go through. All right, so Travis is a 50-year-old man with no monthly income. Is it possible that his Filipina convinced him he could live here without money? He said he was a manager at a Taco Bell. He's got a hell of a story about his disabilities. And he come here with alleged medical issues, which, hey, I've got them too. But I have a monthly income. I have a husband that makes income. And I have the ability to return back to the U.S. This guy evidently has no sense to actually go back. Instead, he is begging on the streets of Manila. I believe this is like the other story that Carrie had covered. Same girl covering. She finds these expats. She uses them 100% for content. And she asks people for money and she redistributes it to these expats. So basically, she literally drives down the street looking for them. Is she doing it to get content and to pad her pocket, as some Filipinos and other expats say? Or is she really doing a good job in helping these guys? I'm mixed on it. I think it's great she's helping, but I seen her scouring the streets of Angeles City the other day in Mabalacat, which is where I live. She's literally just looking for people, like literally. And I'm kind of like mixed on how she's handling this. Um, but this guy, let's get back to him. I believe this is like the other one that Carrie covered. She got exposed because other vloggers found the female. Then the female said, no, he lives in an apartment, and they were still together. So his story of her being a gold digger and doing this, and that, they were living together all along. After they got some money out of Carrie and she gave him money, they went and got their nails done, and they were eating out fast food, and they were just trying to make money on the street. And this guy, I believe he's still with his woman. And he was going on about if he doesn't pay his 3,000 for rent, he'll be out shortly. And he holds a sign saying he's disabled. Join in the chat. Let's get this algorithm going, guys. Be sure to do a thumbs up on the video. And I'm going to play a clip of her video here in a minute. But he says he's disabled. He's calling himself disabled. So legally, he's not. There's a bunch of people saying, hey, he needs to go to the embassy and go get a Social Security. Well, they don't give Social Security usually for just a bad back, or especially in this day and time right now. He's got a bad back. He says his knee is bad. There's more questions than answers today with this dude, but he's not. I thought he was like totally messed up, and he is. Don't get me wrong. The man's got disabilities. He does. I'm just going to tell it like it is. To me, he's got a lot of issues, but I don't think he's got the disabilities to from Social Security. That he got a broken knee when he got robbed at a pizza place, but I didn't understand that he didn't get a settlement on that. He then said he had to have 5 surgeries, titanium, plate, and everything in his leg. Bad back from 2012. His back was allegedly broken when a semi truck hit him. The semi truck did not stop in Indiana on the road and just kept going. And the settlement with his own insurance was about $9,000. He's been here in the Philippines about 3.5 years, he said. And now he's just asking for money on the street. He brought his money and he opened up some sorry stores, 2 of them, and they epically failed. He's like, oh yeah, you got to buy supplies and you got to this, and you got an employee or whatever. Yeah, you're going to make 400 or 500 pesos a day, $10 like everybody else in this country, no matter what job you got. And then you got to put it back into investment. So the guy is just shit out of luck right now. So he has no residual income. He's living in Manila while his woman lives nearby. He was never clear about nothing. Every time Carrie does these interviews, I told George, I would like to see her press these people. Why isn't she? Because I believe she's collecting a bunch of money from people based on it. There was a guy that came forward and said she had asked for like 30,000 pesos to get one of these expats off the ground. But yet they say, and again, guys, this is from what I'm reading, is that she's got little purses, she's going to these fancy restaurants, she's doing all this stuff. So that's on the side note of her collecting money for these expats and then doing these interviews, but she's not really pressing them. Why? Because then they won't do the interviews. But I really think, like I see in the comment section, they're like, this dude needs to be asked questions. The guy is just out there asking for money. He technically is not homeless. He has a place. He's got more here in this place than half the Filipinos do in this country. And he's here begging on the streets. Then he had the nerve to ask for a laptop. Well, if I can just get a laptop from somebody, then I can just do graphics online. No, sir, you got to get a license for that. You got to get your licensing. You have to go through and do all the legalities of running a business. You can't just transfer your sorry store stuff if you were legally licensed. And I am very unsure that he's even got his 13A. So he says he's married to a Filipina. Is he? Do you realize how many people say they're married to a Filipina right now? Like on their YouTube channels, and they're not. They just say they're their wives. So that's been coming up a lot here lately, also. So there's a lot to process on this guy for sure. 100%, there's a lot going on in this guy. And what we see all kinds of stories, all kinds of homeless and different things going on with these expats. So, word of advice, never come to the Philippines without any income steady monthly, not 50,000 in the bank, not 100,000 in the bank. People have done that and they have failed. They come here, they get married and said they weren't going to get married, they have kids, just don't do it. And I still think the comfortable amount of money right now is 25 to 3,000 if you're single. Okay, if you want to continue even part of your Western life. Now, was this guy going to fall on his face? Ruby, I will agree with you on this one that this guy was going to fail anyways. He probably struggled his entire life. Did I struggle my entire life? Sure, I did. But I stayed at jobs long term, had a little savings, had somebody I was married to. Maybe he did too. But I believe this guy would have fell really, really quick in the US. Was he looking for an easy way out? I don't know. I really, really don't know. But I know that I just can't believe that he won't go back to the US. I don't have any family. I don't have this. I don't have that. No, if something goes bad and me and George break up and we're getting a divorce, first off, I'm going to tell you guys. I'm not going to hide it like several channels are hiding their relationships are totally kaput. Like totally kaput. They make it like they're still there and you don't see them at all. Like they haven't been in any videos or live streams forever. But for this guy, she's in his life. But if something happens like that, I'm going to say, hey, hey, and hey, and my ass will decide if I'm going to stay here short term. But I would go back if I didn't think I had the money. I'm not going to sit here if Social Security gets cut off and my savings dwindles, and I'm just going to sit here and go out there and just, oh my God, and just sit there and just ask for money like that. That is just insane. That is insane. I just can't believe it. I'll play the clip of the German guy. This guy's big. I thought I was big, a big expat, but this German guy has got to be 400 pounds, and he's walking around in the streets, and he's just like they couldn't figure if he was drunk or mentally ill or something. But they're just I don't know. I guess the chosen one, the island of misfits, is like a real thing or something. So who knows? All right, I'm going to play some of this clip and show you this guy if you haven't seen. And he'll go through and tell some of his story. And a lot of people are not believing his story. Not at all.
But we don't live together. I stay here by myself.
Oh, yeah. How old are you, sir?
50.
Oh, wow. Really, like, you rent here? Or like, I see.
I mean, if I can't come up with rent money, I'll be kicked out. That's one of the reasons I left to do this.
How much are you here, sir?
3,000 a month.
She's still visiting you. Like, how are you? Or something like.
Oh, yeah, she comes around, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. Or sometimes she bring food or what? Or nothing.
Sometimes, yeah, when she's able to.
Oh, yeah.
The things are complicated right now.
Oh, it's like just a month to beg to there.
All right, he says things are complicated. I bet they're still together. That's what I get out of it. He's just living somewhere else. She's babysitting. His wife is not working, he said, not because she's disabled, because she's babysitting her granddaughter or grandson. So the daughter is not their daughter. She had children beforehand. And this is her not working, but this is a way of him getting money because he said that if he got a graphics job, which I don't know why he thinks he can just do t-shirts, graphics, and sell them online here. That's his plan for money. And that he's going to make money and, she'll come back. He already says that she'll come back. So they're not broke up. This is just temporary.
But before, what are you doing before you do that?
Well, we had a business before.
Can I ask what's your business before?
We had parking spots at a campus, Metro Manila College,
Oh yeah, I know that.
and there were some mistakes made, and the business
And then
couldn't survive. And then this place here had a small store, but being where it's at, across the street from nothing, it didn't hardly get any business, and there was no way to keep the store here open.
so that's why they close it.
Yeah, I had to close it because when sales are only 400 pesos a day,
Oh my god.
and 95% of that goes back into buying product from the store.
Yeah, and
No
also the
shit.
rent.
Yeah, and I wasn't.
And that's at a
able to
college,
cover that.
right, Bookham? No money, no honey. No, she's still around. She's just having him make money and begging.
I couldn't buy product from the store.
I'll get to you in a minute,
It was
Black
impossible
Grandpa.
to survive on a store here.
Yeah. That's why it's closed. That's why after that it's closed. You started to beg
Yeah.
because you don't have any choice.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a manager, right?
He said that he was a manager at Taco Bell, was his last job. The man could not have came with that much money. Okay. He dumped it into the sorry stores, and now he's just asking for money on the street. And his next plan is to get a laptop, a miracle laptop, and to do graphics. I doubt he's registered. I doubt he's paying anything on his immigration, and he cannot legally run an online anything because it still requires licensing. Okay. So basically, he just sticking to I'm disabled. And so again, broken knee. He says he's got a plate in his leg. He says he's got a bad back from a car accident. That doesn't get you Social Security. So the first thing everybody is saying is send him to the embassy to get a ticket home. When you get most of these guys, they're refusing to go home. They all keep saying, I'm not going home, whether they're from the UK or Ireland. She's got a crap load of them. She's got like 10 of these expats lined up, and she's selling videos and she's selling stuff to people and herself. And now it's a boyfriend or some other editing guy that's been hanging out with her. I thought I'd heard a rumor it was her boyfriend. But they're doing content and they keep asking people for huge amounts of money. And a few of them have come forward to say, hey, she's asking for this, she's asking for that. Maybe he'll get his laptop. But would I want the chance, just like the gentleman who passed away, Kelly, that needed the surgery? Sure, I would. But I still don't think asking for a laptop and saying you're going to do graphics online is going to be an answer when you're refusing to go home, when he should go home. He says he's got nobody. He would just be homeless there. At least if he's homeless, okay, at least if he's homeless in the United States, he still has a chance to get help from his own country, not sit here illegally and ask for and to be a beggar. Because here's the thing. Carrie has these expats that she helps. And by the way, that's illegal too. Giving handouts and money the way she does and tracking people down for content and recording them like this, it's also part of the Filipino law of giving to beggars. She's giving to the beggar. You can say he's in the house when she hands off the money. She found him on the street begging with the sign and then followed him home and then gave him money there. It's still giving out money. I get that they'll say, oh, it's to a Filipino. No, I'm pretty sure it means any person that is out there. So she does this. She finds them. She uses them for content. Again, I we've covered several of her people. So that's where we're at with this gentleman this morning, is that he was not actually prepared in any manner. Let me see. And I'll get to your comments here. What is going on? Do your shout outs where you guys are this morning. Is any of you guys getting that snow back in America right now? And we'll be covering on Wednesday the e-trike situation. George just covered that company exactly when we're finding out in the last couple of days that they're going to cut all e-trikes off the national highway. And it's been like a hot topic with mostly the Filipinos, but like we own a trike. I know our Philippine Journey owns one besides a car. Like we have a car, and a lot of expats have these trikes in Angeles City. So it just means that they can't go on the main highways to get places like us. That means we can only drive it in our neighborhood now. So us crossing over and getting up on MacArthur and going to the bank and the grocery store, that's all kaput now. We can only use it to go up the street to the sorry store or the basketball court. Our streets are all cut off here in this subdivision, so we can't go nowhere. Are people still going to ride them? I'm sure they are, but they're threatening to impound them, and then it cuts into another law, and it's a hot mess. So we will cover that on Wednesday. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not. They were supposed to do it a year ago. A year ago, they were supposed to do this, and they didn't. And the biggest thing that I would agree is it's about safety, and that they were meant to only be used in neighborhoods, not for main transport. People are using it for business. They're picking up laundry. They're selling items off of it. They're all over the place, and it's more of a safety issue. They're clogging the roads. They're hitting cars, and if they hit a car, then it's the cops don't know how to handle it because it's technically not dealing with a vehicle. And so it's become a real problem. It's become a real problem. I took some screenshots early this morning dealing with this subject. All right, so this was one statement based on this guy, the American. He's not homeless. I want to keep reiterating. He lives in a place that costs about $60 a month or less. He's living in a place where a lot of Filipinos would actually, even though it's a small room and everything, a lot of people would still have way less here. But somebody said about Travis that he was just a manager at Taco Bell. It's not as if he had had enough money there. More than likely, this Filipino pointed out that he was struggling there. There's no way as a Taco Bell manager or a Domino's manager, he mentioned both jobs, that he was surviving in the U.S. I mean, there are people, I doubt they're paying him $30 an hour. And even at 30, people are struggling. So here, because these letters are little, get on my Nerdathon glasses here. Yeah, it's not going to allow me to do it. It's hard enough living here in the U.S. You either need to work 2 or 3 jobs. If he goes back to the U.S., for sure, he's going to be homeless. There's no doubt. So this guy was struggling to begin with, and as I believe, this was his chance to get out. So he was here for 3 years. Oh, and he had a house. I failed to mention. He said he had purchased a house when he got here. So he's been here 3.5 years. So he's lost 2 or 3 sorry stores, and he lost the house. And he's still living like this and begging. So where's the money, and what happened to it? Anybody want to answer me on that one? Yeah, I forgot to tell you, he bought a house and sold it in less than 3 years. So where's the money? You didn't dump that into a sorry store. I'm sorry. George was calculating that. If he had family, would they help? No, he said that his family, he doesn't have any family. He'll be okay if he goes back and gets 2 jobs. Well, according to him, his back and his knee, there's no possible way. But somebody asked, why didn't he apply for all that there? Why did he not stay there and at least establish that? So don't expect this expat to establish here that he's going to get Social Security. And now with that bullshit going on with the U.S. government and everything going on, not only are they going to eliminate a bunch of people on Social Security, they're going to tighten it down. They're going to add AI, and they're going to reevaluate everybody. So this guy is not going to get it based on a bad back and a bad knee. So it's just where it is. Yeah, why did he take so long? Why did he make it so difficult? What happened to all your savings? So basically this Filipino and the people are actually calling him out. Okay, that was another Filipino saying that Carrie's pocketing all the money. In Tagalog, they said that everything she takes in, that she's fancier clothes, fancy travel. And so they're kind of going through on that. So a lot of people have turned her out on this because, we all cover these homeless expats, and most of the ones you see are monetized. I get it. But we don't walk around in fancy clothes and fancy purses. We got a lot of fancy cats. And then turn around and it's just where it is. Let's see. I'm trying to get the actual comments. Yeah, because the last one she covered was from millionaires to homeless. And she came and found him in Angel City. Then she found this one. She's making money. She keeps repeating and asking for the money. So, but I guess these guys don't mind because they're getting help also. We do it as a fair warning. Fair warning. Bring some money, you dumb dipshits. What the hell? What made this guy? I mean, does he got a steel plate in his head or something? And as I'm to understand, he's not military. He could be. But I would think that'd be the first thing that he would let people know. No, some of these numbers she's getting, less than a few months ago when we invited her on the show, she was getting 700 views. Now she's anywhere between 12, and this one got 30,000 for this guy. So she's flying on that, and people are giving her money. She probably I don't know, I seen money in her hand. But anyways, a lot of them are saying that the wife only wanted him for the money. It's sad. Why is a 50-year-old American begging in the Philippines? That's my question too. Go to the embassy and ask for help to go home. He said he won't go home, so that's useless. I don't believe him. A lot of people are like me. I don't believe his story. Most of this I'm not buying. I believe he just ran low, and there were other things, but the story itself, there's a lot of stuff missing. Moved to the Philippines to get married. You ran out of money in 3 years. Yes, two businesses and a house gone. So where was that money? So after it got sold, what did he do with that? He said the place he's living in there that I showed you, he ran a sorry store out of that. So he's been there for a while. He says he's only been asking for money for the past month. Somebody said he had mental illness. He needs to get that fixed. Somebody said something that she's got a depressing page and uses expats. They're homeless losers. They're just stupid clowns. Comments. Gotta love the comments. The guy tried to live for under $1,000 a month. He didn't have anything. No monthly income No, he's not. So here's somebody called Star Beauty saying he's entitled to Social Security. No, he's not. He's not old enough to get regular Social Security. And a bad back does not qualify you. The man, it's just not going to qualify. Are there people that do? I think they got to not move at all. This dude's out there moving and walking around. I doubt he'll get it. I hear someone going, I'm disgusted at these comments. Bitch, you came there to look at those comments, I'm sure. Talking about people being judgmental. He's begging for food and water, and you want to kick him while he's down. He's not begging for food and water. This bitch asked for a laptop. He says, I need a laptop so I can start a business. You lost 3 businesses and a house and a wife since you've been here. What makes you think a laptop's going to help you, dude? Like, for real. Like, get real. And then you got people like this coming into the comment section about, oh, you're kicking him when he's down. Well, let's see. He brought his dumb ass here, and that's where it is. It's where it is. You came here to get some punani, and your shit fell apart, and you gave up everything, and you let your person, somebody told you it was okay, unless he was just like whatever from the beginning. Of course he did. Get him a ticket and get him back. It's not the answer. People always have the answers of, take him to the embassy. The dude clearly stated, I'm not leaving, so you can't do nothing with that. He wants the laptop. That's the answer. So every time she talks to somebody, there were like 10 comments and like, I'll help them. Okay, get a hold of her and see what she asked for. You know what the other guy said? She's asking for large amounts of money. When you ask somebody for $600 or $700 to fix an expat's life, you realize she probably talks to 20, 30 people a day based on each one of these. Yeah, she's just going to keep collecting that money. Her PayPal is on there. Her Gcash is on there. She takes money. And so, I mean, it's still not going to fix the problem. It's still not going to fix the problem. There's something going on both sides. And this is not only my opinion and statement, this is what I'm reading on these comments, other people's pages that knew some of these guys, not one of the homeless expats, but multi. Oh, well, she did this. And then Filipino channels, and Filipinos are like, oh my God, she's doing that. And so this is just one big, what do you call that? I don't know what I want to call it. I know what I want to call it, but do I believe she's helping? Yes, I believe she's doing a good thing, but she could do it in other ways. Does she need to put all of it on there? No, she could do this all under the table and keep it off of YouTube. And she'll say that she's doing it because it's bringing in the income to help the expats, but you're also asking everybody to give you money too. And she's made a full business. I think the Filipinos are disgusted because she's dressing in fancy clothes, got her little handbags with her. I really didn't want to get into that part of it because could have covered it in that manner, but there's a lot of comments in here and on Facebook about her and how it's handled. And technically, her giving to people like this is breaking one of the rules. Poor Americans, they think Asia is still cheap, like the 90s. Wake up. And George said that. We were talking that it's not anymore. We don't even know how people even survive here. We really don't. You're going to need a couple thousand, 2,000, 3,000 easy to live here now. Anything under that, you're risking it. And then a couple bad accidents or medical, you're going down. Never marry a single mother. I'm wondering if she was even divorced. A lot of these women that have kids usually are married. Is he really married? I would open him a lumpia stand. Yeah, the way she became popular is she ended up on Rafi Tufo with the lumpia tatai guy. And we were like, oh, it was a one-offer because all she did was a little bit of traveling here and there, just a simple Filipina. And then all of a sudden after that, she just took off in fancy clothes and bags and all this travel and all these extra things. And it's not a good look either in the Filipinos' eyes. The story serves as a warning. Go to the embassy, apply for Social Security. I want to know what he did with the money for the house and everything else. So, I spent all my money. Oh, I see. I'm here because I didn't win the lottery. I just got dumb old George. Just kidding. I love the man. And know how long I love you. Guys, if you haven't done a thumbs up, be sure to do a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. It helps the algorithm. It helps our channel. We appreciate everybody's support. I have to say that. We are in the Christmas month, 24. We got 24 days now. We're officially in the first. And just watching helps our channel and stuff and feeds a few of these monsters and feeds me and keeps us in donuts. And we do appreciate it. And coffee. Ask me if I care. Somebody made a statement. He's like, I have strong feelings. This was going to be the topic. Oh, there's a lot going on. Supposedly there was a expat that got beat up and it was on Rafi Tulfo, but George goes, there's not a real story to it. We watched it. We're waiting to see if something else comes up on it. Um, it's not uncommon. And like somebody said, keep your ass off a walking street and away from the punani, and you do a lot better. And so when you go into situations like that, shit's going to happen. So, but we're waiting to see if anything comes up because really there was really nothing to the story, just something very typical. We know you're around. Okay. So this is driving me nuts. I ended up getting new microphone covers, and you notice I'm itching a lot more, and I'm on an allergy pill. So I did not clean these. So I just think it's because they come directly from the warehouse. And so I have not stopped itching since I've had that. And that's what happened on the last mic. So I don't know. Like George said, there's probably a chemical that they paint them in that's irritating. But they pretty much all come from the same company, all from China. So I must call a spade a spade. My reputation is based on honesty, right? Good morning, Ted. I don't want to know how the Colombian girls are. I'm jealous. And of course, Gio was in the house, is in the house. Good morning, Slick Rick. Sure it is. Old news as in how? That it was covered 2 days ago. It's kind of like George said, our people don't watch every channel, and it can be old news. I seen shit they're covering in the White House that happened 2 weeks ago, and it's now coming up that's getting hundreds of thousands of views. It's spun in a different direction. And in my view, I think Carrie has issues in covering these guys and breaking a couple of the rules, and vice versa. I think this guy's using her and using everybody out there, and I think he's ridiculous for being out there begging and asking for a handout in a third world country. So I'm going to put my spin on this old news shit. Got a whole lot of shit. Unless you're talking about the E-Trike shit. That's been going on for a while. Already been done. Yeah, book 'em. Book 'em, book 'em. Hey, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning from Arizona. Wow, I'm actually on time for the big show today. Good morning, Sultan of Swat George Herman. Am I saying that? George Swat George Herman. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. Hold on, it's not. There we go. Trying to get that up there. Good morning. Good morning. Semi drives over your back. Very dead. Yeah. Okay. But it's okay for other expats in the rooms that you go into to cover it. But when we cover it, it's not okay. YouTubers have no content, have to talk about other expats. Not true. Not true. There's a lesson to be learned. I'm covering it. Okay. I'm covering it with a reason. It's called Don't Bring Your Ass Here with No Money and No Residual Income. So it's not, it is your narrow little mind that thinks that we're just talking about other expats. For anybody that's been a long-term person of this channel that doesn't have such a narrow little mind would understand that it's a lesson to be learned, and it's beyond just talking about the expat. Heard some little shit the other day talk shit, talking about other expats that only have to talk about other expats. That's not what we're doing. We're covering content. So if your butt hurt, take it somewhere else. Take it to the street, huh? Another expat on the rocks. It's sad, but it's great to watch. Good morning, Raymond. Yeah, it's sad. And it's a discussion too, Mr. Bookham and Vinay. Again, narrow-minded. Same shit, different day. Good morning, Raymond. I'll keep telling my wife to stop spending money or what will be me in 6 months. Yeah. And it could be any of us. It's a big ass lesson. It's a big ass lesson that it can happen, but he had to see it coming. He had to see that shit coming. I mean, there's no way that he had to resell a house that he purchased and the stores were going down and then he opened another one. He had to see it. So, and no, not really. And even if we do, let's say we got down to the troll gossip bullshit that the others, your same asses, including you, have been up in those rooms. You still go in there. So it's like the news covering all the shit about Trump and all the other shit going on. The more drama that's to it, the more it actually sells. And they're not really, they're just repeating it. We don't regurgitate it like the others. There's a spin on it. More than a spin. It's a discussion. And if people don't want to be in that, then they can go. Hit the bricks, man. Not you specifically, everybody. I'm talking in general. So I've made several bad decisions already. I can't afford to make another one, as mentioned in the title. Yeah. Yeah, it's where it is. It's where it actually is. No, I agree, Bookham. No money, no honey. But I believe she's just hanging in the wings because he said that the exact wording is will she come back or would you go back with her? The answer is yes. Yeah, he never said that she was fully gone. I think he's just trying to get money together. Yeah, definitely. It's a waste on. I just wanted to cover that real quick. You saying, yeah, it's a waste of money. We've repeated it. Other channels have repeated it. Filipinos have. Don't, like George's been saying for 5 years, don't come here and start a business unless you've literally got 1 million US dollar in the bank to lose. Or if you open up a business and it costs 100,000, be expecting to lose that. Business don't last for long in the US and usually fold within a couple years. Here, it's going to fold a lot quicker. Why don't these expats ever have an emergency credit card? Yeah, for a plane. He spent it. He just kept spending it. Black Grandpa. 400 in sales per day for a Sorry store. They must have had a very remote. No, he was in, and no, not necessarily. We're in Mabalacat, and it's just there's like in our subdivision, there's 7 or 8 of them, and it's a small subdivision. And it's just not a low income one because both sides of us, the people in our places, make good money. They've got multiple cars, motorcycles, good jobs, upper to middle class people. And are there poor people in our subdivision? Yeah, this is like a mix in this neighborhood. But I doubt they're making 400, 500 pesos a day in profit because you're only making 1 peso, 2 pesos, 3. It's just, I don't know about that. Sorry stores just don't make any money. Can't even manage a sorry store. Yeah. They probably gave, like George said, credit. And that would be my problem. I am a very empathetic person. I'd probably, like George said, you would give everything away. He goes, that would just be where we are. We would just not be able to tell people no. And that would just kill the business. I love me some bean burritos from Taco Bell. Right. Teo said, if I had to open a sorry store when I get there, I've had solid plan to keep it afloat. Yeah. I just think you have to be more. George said what would help a sorry store. And I forgot what he actually said about it. It's not only location, but what you have available. But he said something else that was like, yeah, it's got to be. No money in the Philippines, your liability. They want assets, you're basically worthless. Yeah. My friends have no e-trikes. I've been in the Philippines longer than you. Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of people have them now. Yeah, just not expats, but the Filipinos. And there's 5 or 6 things circling why they're doing this. I thought the main reason was safety, but they're thinking they're going to start impounding a bunch of them and selling them off to anybody for scrap. There's all kinds of shit. But they're saying Senator Rafi Tulfo is full approval, and he's getting a lot of hate for it right now. But women are using it to go to church. They're using it to take their kids, and they're going to have to cross those main highways in this area. But I told George they're not going to listen. It's like most of the rules here, they really don't apply to most Filipinos. I think it'll be hectic, but they're threatening to take the bikes if they catch them on it after one warning. And then they're like, well, they can't. It's tied to another law. So there's a lot of like law throwing, but none of them follow the damn laws to begin with. So it'll be interesting. All I know is, thank God, we're only using the bike a few times a month. We use the car, or we take a grab when we go somewhere if we don't want to deal with like parking or something. So we've had that trike. Can you believe we've had that trike for 3 years? It's been one of the greatest things that we've had. And it gets us around in the neighborhood, and we go and pick up meds on it. But if they cut out MacArthur, we can't go anywhere. We cannot. And as of today, the answer is no. So funny thing is you see everybody selling their trike right now. It's like they're selling it. They cut them all over the market right now. Sorry store is a rough business, because even if you don't succeed and do well, someone will open up one right next to you. Yeah, and they'll undersell you. That's exactly. Well, here's the thing. At the last time I went to the market up the street, that's every week, it's really surprising what people are charging, and things are like doubling and tripling up on costs. Like when they're selling like blankets or different cookware or something, it's just everything's going up. I don't know how. That dude is a bum, and he needs to go home. Stop chasing young girls. This woman isn't young. She's got a daughter old enough to have a grandkid. He's 50. He said he was 50. He could not get disability in the States. I don't think so either. Well, I'm curious, because he said the only settlement he got out of the whole thing was $9,000 for the truck driving thing. He said a trucker took off, and I don't know about that. I knew a lot of truck drivers, and they do tend to stop. He said that he just crushed him up against the concrete and just left him there. It's possible the guy would just wanted to get up out of there. But he said that, and somebody called him out on that. And then they called him out on him saying, yeah, that his back got broke. And I don't know. There's a lot to the guy's story. I see a ton of e-trikes. Basically, the problem here is it's taking up all the extra parking no matter where you go. They're all over the place. They're in lanes they're not supposed to. They're supposed to stay in the far right lanes. They're not doing that. They're causing accidents. So there's and a lot of them have no licensing. They really don't know how to drive, and they get out there, and it's kind of crazy. But I think they need to enforce all the other rules on the driving motorcycles and cars too. Traffic is crazy. Like most expats who go broke, their money all went to a Filipina. Yeah, that's pretty much the story. That'd be my guess. And I believe the Filipinas are advising them to do all this, like get this, get that. And not all. Again, you can't throw them all in the same pot. You just can't. I am your typical American bitch. I'm going to tell you that right now. But it's an attitude and all. But when it comes to the Filipinas, they still have their own issues. Things don't change because you cross into Asia. It just doesn't. As a matter of fact, I believe there's more desperate situations going on. Right? I love this channel, Jerry Springer 2.0. I guess. My sorry store will be a place to hang out and watch Philippine antics, right? Nope, not today. He'll be in on Wednesday. Virginia is a hell of a drug. Oh, Virginia. Yeah, no, he's 50. Yeah. John Paul saying John needs to get his teeth clean and how he couldn't buy a toothbrush. That was so odd. We thought that was weird because that was a couple years ago that was done. He made a lot of money off of that one video, breaking it off, bringing him back in, and it really boosted his channel. But I and George found it odd how cleaning his teeth become a priority. And I was like, what the freak? And that's what George said. What the freak? He's got children without diapers, and she's yelping to us that nobody's helped. Like, nobody contacted her. We did. I was like, I'm going to contact her. So I found her on TikTok doing her TikToks. And I'm like, are you getting help right now? Is there anything we can do? And then as soon as that all came through, we published that video and did that video. Boom. He told her, don't talk to them, don't do this. And then the other vlogger, Paul, came in and said, he's like, oh, well, we're getting ready to drop some money off. And I'm like, okay, like a week had went by or something. But the whole thing that blew my mind is, yes, I get people's teeth need to be clean, but that's the last thing that man needed at that point and a toothbrush, right? I guess the last thing I need is a donut too. But he should call Sunshine Shoulders. Calvin has a spare room, right? Is he even doing that? I haven't checked to see if that's very nice of him. Forget that. I just have to say on a side note, I love you, Calvin. But George was talking, a lot of trolls bragged that they went and they were there, like taking photos. So in other words, guys that were trolling him, there's no way to vest these guys to even see who they are. And they were going to his place and they were just hanging out at his house and then talking about it afterwards. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly. So God bless you for whoever was signed up for you. You let him stay there, but I wouldn't. That's crazy. So, but the trolls were showing up there a while back, but I don't know if he was still doing that or not. The U.S. started a review of every green card holder. Yeah. Yep, especially after what happened. Very sad. I shouldn't laugh at teeth. Filipinos are built different, right? Yeah, because he needs it for graphics, but what is he really going to do? And remember, any online work in the Philippines requires a special everything. You working on the laptop itself as a business would still require, and I don't even think he has a 13A, as I'm to understand. So if he doesn't even have that, then he's not even supposed to be working here, and that means he's behind on his immigration, and then he's on this girl's channel asking for help, and then this girl goes on Rafi Tufel talking to people. Who's goddamn scratching who's back in this shit? I'll deal with that shit when I get there. Some of these expats can't even fix their own teeth, right? You see them all the time. Yeah. Yeah, Social Security is a constant topic everywhere I go. Yeah, and they're just going to start going through. If your papers are not strong, if your background of years of like solid shit, they're going to hit people. As they do need to clean that up. They need to clean up the Social Security. They really do. Yep, no business plan. Yep, so many people starting a business without any knowledge. We all know most expats in the Philippines are poor. It's so depressing. A lot, yes. They had issues to begin with. Retirement was not going to go well. It becomes where, they are looking for a major shortcut. So, what is that? Somebody's hissing. Social Security is in a massive, here, 2035. Yeah, if they don't do something, yes. Most definitely 2035. I would not give money to that lady. I'd rather help kids and donate rice. Most people are making that statement that she's helping, but you got to understand the whole dynamic of what most Filipinos see. She's not helping other Filipinos. She's done one. She hasn't made a video of it. She's just done it on the side. Like I think once there was a photo because somebody was hounding her about it. And so I get it, but the fact that she's hunting them down is crazy. So Terrence Flannery got in trouble helping the poor. Yeah, he might still help, but does not make videos of it. Yeah, he's got other things going on. And they did do an article. I mentioned this probably 5 or 6 live streams ago. They did a whole article in newspaper saying how much he gives out and helps people. So he's kind of still putting it out that he does. He says he gives away scholarships. This is recent. Within the last few months, he just did a full article for one of the bigger newspapers, and they're saying what a good expat he is, how he's given out all this stuff, and he still doesn't, as I'm to understand. I said, I don't think he has a licensing. I see Cambodia is cheaper, heard Asian adventure with Jim. Yeah. No, he went off there. Yeah. Well, other places are different infrastructure. Here, things are getting more expensive. The infrastructure, versus how the country is laid out is really not meeting people's expectations. So it's getting to be where the costs are going up so much. But I think it's a soft landing pad for the expats to get used to Southeast Asia. Kind of a shock jolt to the system. They come in, they get to know, a lot of happy Filipinos that take care of them and do things, and they get, used to it, because a lot of them never even left Indiana. They've never even got out of there. The guy went and probably made Taco Bell all day, went home, watched television, had a few beers, and went right back in, and he was in some sort of comfort zone situation. Good morning. Good morning. What is going on? Luca is in the house. Good morning. Right. Social Security was rumored to go bust in 2030. I feel 26 is the year things take off. Could be. And there's going to be a lot of people in trouble, at least 70,000 people in trouble, because I believe that's most of the income coming in for those guys. Yeah. So, and the bottom has dropped out on you too. They will not give her trouble. She's Filipino. They actually are. They're starting to. There are several big channels that are way bigger than her. And Filipinos can be spiteful. And I guarantee it's going to be the expat community that's not going to go after, because there's a guy right now that's an expat that says he's friends with one of them. And there's some other shit going down. I'm not going to go into that part of it. But no, I believe the Filipinos will throw her under the bus very soon. So, because there's been a lot of them, but it could just be all jealousy. It could be, like they say about me and the Filipina P and her. Oh, you're talking about her handbags, or you're talking about the P being scripted and blah, 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 blah. It means you're all jealous. And I'm like, okay, it is what it is. So we shall see. We shall see. I mean, I guess she's doing something. You're welcome. You're more than welcome. Nope, that is true. If you always do what you always do, you always get what you always got. Yeah, that is true. We have 5 sorry stores on one street. Well, that's the way. Corner the market. That would help too. Good morning, Victoria. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Heidi, long time, but I've been busy back in Southeast Asia. Hi, Michael. What is going on? The issue with the e-trikes, you might have heard me earlier. Let me see what time that was. Okay, that was about 15 minutes ago. The e-trikes were never meant to go out on any main roads or anything. It was kind of meant to be like a golf cart thing, just around the neighborhood. But it did tend to be, when they were sold, a lot of them made the statements that they were allowed to get out and just go anywhere because everybody else was out on the main highways. So in our subdivision, to give you an idea, once you enter the front, it's a major highway. We won't be able to cross the street. We won't be able to go nowhere. So technically at this point, we can only drive it here. So They're unregistered, they're unlicensed, they're like a golf cart somewhere. I don't know how registered they are in the US, but basically it's supposed to be a light e-vehicle. And we have all the articles. We're going to put together a bunch of stuff and talk about it in about 2 days. Wait and see what comes up, because today's the first day. We want to see the fallout, so I didn't want to cover it today. And they're not to take them out anymore. They are only to stay in their subdivisions or the back roads where they're not out with traffic. You've got young minors, like I've seen 8-year-olds go by on them here. There, you will see some young kids out on the streets, and they're weaving in and out of traffic, and they're cutting across people. They're running into jeepneys. And when these accidents happen, they're not, there's a confusion on ticketing an e-trike that's not registered. They have no licensing. They don't know how to drive, most of them. They're using them to take them to school, go to church. So this is, they're going to start impounding them. And then they're like, no, 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 you can't impound. You don't have the right to impound. And so there's a bunch of controversy going on. And these are owned by expats. And then there's a bunch of other stuff. There's going to be a bunch of fines. You got to wear a helmet now. They've put rules that they initially were going to do a few years ago. 3 years ago, they talked about it. A year ago, they talked about it. And now they've actually, as of today, are supposed to start enforcing it. Are you going to still see them out there? Yeah, I suspect nobody's going to listen for a while until they take their bikes from them. So this is not just the e-trikes. It's e-bikes, anything is supposed to be off the main roads now. They are a little overwhelming in Angel City and Mabalacat. They're everywhere. And that's what I feel is the big problem. That's what they're saying. But then they're saying there's a bunch of other stuff that they're not happy about. Sorry store and middle class subdivisions do it because they're bored. Usually old people wanting to have something to do. I think it's because people just don't want to go to the store also. But yes, I would say that there's a bunch of them in here. So not everybody in here is middle class. So literally just you got like a house on the corner and these little, I call them duplex like townhouses. And then if you go to the end of the street here, you have another apartment building, houses on the other side, and then you got people with hardly anything. There's a few bricks put together, and there's a whole section of people that are just they look like they're not making more than 7,000 pesos a month in income is how they're living. So there's a mix in ours. Every sorry store sells the same stuff at the same price. You have to differentiate yourself, to make it successful. But if you do that and succeed, they'll just copy you. Yeah, we've discussed different things, and for us, it just would be out of boredom. I told George, I said, we ought to just throw a bunch of vending machines in our yard and just let people come and buy stuff out of the vending machine. And he says, yeah, they could take those machines or break it. I said, eventually the kids will mess with it. And I said, yep. He goes, and then somebody will do the exact same thing. And it's expensive to get them set up. I said, okay, we'll just sell bacon in this just for fun. And then he's like, you ain't going to go out there at all different hours to sell stuff to people. I said, you're right. I'm just going to get lazy. Hey, we could always tie the goods to the cats. We could just send like one cat at a time and tie the items to the cats. Put a little microphone. We could put a little microphone on the back of their head or something. Good morning, Joseph. Hi, hey. All right. Real quick, before I go any further, let me put Sarah was talking about hi there. All right. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to put up really quick the other video that I have. It's a German expat. It's a Filipino that found him, and and this is being posted recently. Now, you all probably say it's old. I don't know how old it is, but the guy appears to be drunk and out there, and they finally caught him and convinced him to go home or something. He's just walking down the street. It was kind of crazy. So I'm going to show you this clip. I do have this clip. Hold on a minute.
shoes on, no shirt on,
All right,
probably
let's
no
get
underwear
this
on. Listen,
going
he's
here.
wearing that.
That's weird. It was muted. All right, go.
I saw a German foreigner walking around with no shoes on, no shirt on, probably no underwear on. Listen, he's wearing that pajama right there. It's about to fall off. The first thing I did was gave him food and water, and then hoping he'd go with me to the police station because I was gonna surrender him there.
Kind of
I
looks like
wasn't sure he was
George, just a
drunk at the time,
hair.
but he was walking on the street in front of everybody. He's trying to hitch a ride, go here and go there. So he's kind of combative at the time. So I called a German friend to talk to him, but this guy
They
didn't
said he
speak
was
no
very
English whatsoever.
combative.
He was just straight up German. He told me he's German, so that's what I'm okay. But once he sees the phone, he starts to run away. And so I left him for a little bit and called the cops and waited for them to respond. They was very fast, and then we found him right here. He's a big boy, so we're trying to stop him from going to places because he does jump on the cars and the motorcycle. You know, he does obey, but he's not combative. He just don't want you to touch him. So finally, a friend of him showed up right here. He's German, and this Filipina speaks German. They picked him up. He said, this is him right here. He said he was going to go with her, not with him. I don't know the full story.
I
I
think
was
he
just
was
there to
drunk.
make sure he goes home safe. He got in the police mobile, and I told him, I'm off, my friend. Take care. He said, thank you. I don't know what to say about this situation, y'all. Just do this Bobby drunk. I don't know if he's mental or not, but I was just there to observe.
Yeah, so a really plus size German expat was found going down the street. He said he didn't feel he was combative. Others said that he was combative. They don't know where he lived, but they ended up getting him into a police paddy wagon and getting him somewhere safe. So I thought I would show you guys that clip I told you guys earlier. For those that are joining, we're talking about Travis, a 50-year-old expat. Let's see, I don't think I have it. I would have to start over again. But Travis is from Indiana, a 50-year-old American that doesn't have a job, and his full-time job now is asking for money on the streets of Manila. He's not homeless as initially indicated. He's got a place, better than probably half the people in Manila. And he has a wife, allegedly. He calls her a wife. A lot of them do call them wives. That has lost not only a house that he had to sell here in the last 3.5 years, but 2 or 3 sorry businesses he's lost, but yet has no income. So he has no monthly residual income, which again, don't come here with less than 2,000-3,000. And even then, if you get a wife, and depending on the area, it's really getting harder and harder to survive here in the Philippines. Anything medical comes up, you'll be like the Kelly guy that passed away recently. He was allegedly a manager at a Taco Bell before he left. He had been in an online with her, I think he said 6 years. People are advising him to get disability. He holds a sign saying he's disabled. He's got a bad back and a bad knee. That's what's really going on. So to me, using the word disabled like that is really, I think he's just out to make money. I think it's a full con. Other people have said it's a full con. Other Filipinos are disgusted that he's out there. And the disabilities he talks about, George did say, and we discussed this, he says that he has asthma. When he went into discussing it, he said he had a pre-asthma, which is technically not a real term. It would not be used in the medical world he buys his own inhaler is what he does. And he complained about 230 pesos for an inhaler. The guy needs to go back to the US. He really does. If he has a true disability, let Social Security determine that. But if he had it, he would have tried before he left. And I don't believe it's a story. They're saying that it's true love and that he just absolutely had to come here. And that's where it was like, oh my God, I'm in love. I got to get there and this, that. No, I don't think he was succeeding in America. And so then he came here with no plans. Okay. And for the naysayers, it'll say, oh, you did the same thing and you were broke and blah, blah. Not true. When me and George left, we did have a lot going on. We left during the pandemic and decided he has family here. I came with a Filipino that knows the Philippines, that knew America. We were married in America. And we have money in the bank now, and we had a bunch of money when we arrived, and we did make plans. And we've stumbled along the way, and hence what this channel is about, is showing you the different aspects of our lives, mostly doing live streams now, answering questions. If you all ask the questions, we goddamn answer those questions. But we do entertainment, we go through and we bring up topics, and it's actually what we do. But a lot of judgment of you keep covering people where you were that bad off, and it's like you guys don't know shit, man. And it's like not even close of a comparison. So not even close. What are you doing? The kitties are dropping and jumping in and out of the toy box. That little one gets around. You better not. There's a little basket that holds the pooper scooper, a little bit of cat litter in a bag, and the bags itself. It looks like they're going in and out. You better not be pooping in there. It's not what it's for. Forgot how active kittens can be. So, anyways, this guy needs to get it together. So, and it could happen to any of us, though. It really would. But my dumb ass would go back again if I broke up with my spouse and was no longer with them and made that decision. First off, yes or no. Say George is gone, I'm gone, and then my ass would go back if need be. So Calvin only allows his subscribers to stay 2 days in his guest house. I believe you have to show ID. Yeah, but a lot of the YouTube channels that are trolling him or that are just trolls that aren't real channels, they can give their full regular name and he wouldn't know it's them trolling. So some of them came back through and said, hey, I was there at his place. They took photos and everything. I'm like, oh shit. But I guess it's like us. People talk shit, run shit, been here. And it's like, so if we don't see him, it's like a goddamn dead tree falling in a forest. We don't know and we don't care. So good morning, Kay Dallas. I have an appointment to go to now. Thank you, Victoria, for dropping in. Why is this? I guess the camera's unbalanced. I got to stop touching the table. Cry me a river. Well, good for you, Bookum. My neighbor sells cookies and other baked goods online, and she's doing good. Yeah, I just don't know how. There's a place here where, like, I can't believe that they're getting 200 pesos for a piece of cake and 300 pesos for a piece of cake. And they opened a second store, but they also complained about the prices and it brought their ratings way down. Good morning. Good morning. Sarah was like, Heidi, put up an old pulley to the clothesline, right? And run the money through the gate, kind of like they handed through the jeepneys. I think putting it on the kittens and letting them run out or something or have them go. The dogs probably would go quicker to the gate than not Mary. Mary doesn't like going out the front door. That is for sure. Yeah, probably. Yeah, must say. Must say. All right, guys. Well, this has been very interesting for this expat. Let's see, money, alcoholic, chicks for free. Oh, I guess I see the comment here. Money for nothing and my chicks for free. So there's your lesson, guys. If something happens, go home. I call that balls of steel, and I actually have them. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I would not sit out on the street in Manila at this size, half my size, any freaking way, and sit there and ask broke Filipinos, which most of them are that are going by, for money and hold a disabled sign. I did tell George, we discussed, joked about it, doing an experiment, like, with my size and me being American, white female, and see who would give us money and then try to reward him back by giving him and say thank you and see who would actually try to help me. But the sad part is we discussed this a couple years ago, like right in the height of the pandemic when we got here, after the country reopened, where you didn't see a bunch of this. Are there homeless expats, and were they existing before? Yes, but not like they are now. It's really like they're making entire businesses out of it now. It's blowing my mind. Entire businesses out of it. And I thought about it, and then I'm like, shit, I'm not even going to sit out there for 2 minutes and sweat just to experiment. It's just not worth the. We know they'll help. We know that Filipinos are nice, and I think, in my opinion and other people's opinion, this guy's taking advantage of the system. I I do not believe that he caused his own issue. He needs to go home. Saying he's going to start a business and asking for a laptop is a lot of balls and audacity, in my opinion. I really think he needs to go home. I think he needs to go and get. Well, he can't. He doesn't have any family. So if you don't have family back in the US, you're not going to go to the embassy and just get a ticket back home, because part of that is having people, when you return, you have to, have references. There's a whole thing to going home and getting money from the embassy to get help. So he may not even get that. So, but asking Filipinos that are already broke to go, to me is the low of the low. And I believe him and his wife are together. He's doing it for money. They do that in the US. They got whole syndicates. We talked about this before. I believe this guy is just running money, giving her money. He's getting money. They're paying rent. She probably stays part-time there and does the babies. And he's not telling the whole story. Over and over again, this guy's not being honest. So I don't believe it's all a true story. I think there's something missing. So definitely something missing. At least if you had to go back to America flat, at least you could probably get welfare. It's going to be tough, but at least, yeah, you would be able to do something. If the guy is that bad off and sick, he could go into some partial nursing home thing for, if he's that disabled, there are facilities, or who knows? I know that just believe me, there's no way. I would not stay here and do that. He's got other opportunities, most definitely. Cambodia versus Philippines. Wish I never went to the Philippines since coming here. They said Vietnam too. Cambodia, Vietnam. Yeah. That's what they do at rodeos. They tie a cup of dollars on a chicken and let the kids run after it. Talk about stampede. Oh, wow. Yeah. I can't picture you and George splitting Philippine antics. Needs both of you. Yeah, that's another thing. I was watching a good live stream the other day of I forgot who it was. There's a couple of them that I watched the other day, but it was where they were discussing people not being true about expat breakups here. And I know, and I'm just going to say who it is. Mike's Philippine Retirement. His woman hasn't been around. I think the reference to Brian, Philly in the Philippines, and the Dumageddon is that it's not only been said, but that's old. It's old news. This has been months and months. His woman on Facebook and her TikTok have been empty. Like there's nobody. He's not around at all. She's not mentioning him. There's no updated photos of him. I believe it's Mike's Philippine Retirement. And then on a side note, per his own admission in Dumageddon would be, which I already said before, was one that normally people don't watch. Oh my God. So anyways, there was another one, but he doesn't do much vlogging anymore. He's dealing with his own medical conditions. And some guy named Gio had broke up with his woman a long time ago. But at least he put that out there. Just kidding. So anyways, but I believe they're talking about Mike's Philippine Retirement and breaking up and everything. So no, I don't see hiding. Oh, shit. Shit. Here comes your Jerry Springer shit. Jerry. Peachback Mountain. Remember all that shit we were talking about? We still get shit from that every now and then. Same trolls, probably the same ones that love the Filipino P. Mrs. Scripted. I can't do nothing without it. He has left officially. He's left the mountain. So American man, Filipino wife. We get shit for discussing that they no longer marry. Well, what business of it? You're lying to your people, still collecting money, still saying it's his baby, going through all this bullshit lie. I'm gonna cover that. That was not gossip. That was fact. That was Bible. And they continued to do it. Then he brought his woman Brenda from another Bohol province area to live with them. Oh, we're gonna live together up on this mountain. Then it turns out that the baby's father's another expat, which people said was a lie. I was like, their asses said that shit. They said it. Everything we were saying is what they said. And then it turns out that on top of that, she's married to another man. So she's not married to him. Baby's not the old dude drunk's baby. It belongs to some other white expat that's got a family back in America. Stay with me on this. But turns out that the other woman, is married. Okay. And they've been running this channel for a few years. So then they get butt hurt and they turn around and they do videos on me, calling me a pig and making references and everything because they butt hurt. Okay. Because you love me. And then it turns out their asses ended up breaking apart. We said that the real husband came forward and the family said that the land really wasn't hers. And I was like, oh, we don't know. They're just saying all this. So it was a possibility it wasn't even her land to begin with. It was initially purchased with his name on it. The original husband's was added to the paperwork. So who knows if that was what it was. But he left. He packed up the other day on his YouTube channel and shows that they officially ended everything. So now the new girlfriend, I believe her name's Brenda. I could be missing the names, but because it's been a while since we covered it. But somebody says, hey, he left. And I said, what? And I said, usually we don't do an update, but this gives me a chance to do that. He left. Him and that new girlfriend actually went to Bohol. So George says, I knew they couldn't live on that land together. There was just no freaking way. And she probably already had some men lined up. They believe he was going broke, went through his savings and all that. There's all kinds of stuff. Who knows? But Peachback Mountain and the Drunkard officially split, and they moved off. So, but if me and George did, we would just tell you. I mean, we go through our times. You guys have seen us fight. He spends time at the family house. I told you guys all of that. But we still together. We still together. So, what is all that noise, guys? There's a box of bottled water. And they jump inside the box. They bite those bottles, by the way. They end up leaking everywhere, but it's where it is. Yeah, because I was sitting there watching that live, and I was like, wow, that almost sounds like us for about a half a minute. And I'm like, and then he mentioned Doomageddon, and I was like, yeah, so that's kind of weird, And I was like listening. I was like, oh, yeah, that's Mike's Philippine Retirement. But nobody called it out in the comments. I'm like, nobody knew that she hadn't been around. But here's the thing, just because somebody doesn't appear on the channel at all doesn't mean that. Like a lot of Filipinos, like George is spending less and less time because he's going to the family's house, granddaughter things, since he's had the car, he does more things. But he is starting to do more recordings of out and about. When you don't see those or see me do them or see us together after about a month, then I would say worry. This has been going on for a while. She hasn't appeared at all. So and it seems to be that these women in the last couple circles that have broke up with their expat channels, they found somebody else already, has been the big rumor. So, yeah. Right. Outside of Manila, I'm starting to believe Bohol to be one of the most expensive islands. Okay. To live if you're, or in Panglao. Yeah. How do you say that? Tagbilaran? Tagbilaran. Go home, regroup, come back. Yeah, that was like that guy that old dog covered. He did. He went back. It was a big rigmarole to get him out. He ran a bunch more content on him. He did. He went back, got the money, and came back. And I believe he's officially old enough now to get his regular Social Security. But he blew through the money. Once he had a kid, once he bought a bike, and he was staying at hotels and going to bars. She said that John was drinking all the time. That girl spilled the beans on everything. Everything. Chris Hansen is coming. Who's Chris Hansen? I have no idea. I would have to look that up. Is he the guy that isn't Chris Hansen the one that covers the pedos? As they should. Oh my God. By the way, I'm going to give you guys an update. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's the big deal? Some guy got caught recently, either in Colombia or one of the Spanish countries, the Spaniard countries, I call Spaniard, with 98 condoms. I'm going to be as close to the story off the top of my head as I can. 98 condoms and 4 bottles of lube. They refused him to come in. I was like, that's just a regular day here in the Angel City area. What you talking about, Willis? I'm like, they refused a guy for having that many. I didn't get it, but when you mentioned Chris Hansen, is he the one that does the pedos? And I'm like, you gonna fault a guy for having a couple bottles of it? Just seemed weird. And I'm like, that would be normal here in Southeast Asia. What you talking about, Willis? Geez. They refused him. And as a matter of fact, they thought about arresting him. There was like a whole thing on. I'm like, what? If there would have been like those miniature blow up dolls that were from that were from like Sheen and Temu and all that were childlike sizes, or the animals with holes in it. And then he had all that and a bunch of weird magazines, then maybe, but it was literally just that 4 bottles of lubes and 98 condoms, and they freaked out. And it was weirdly was I believe it was either Colombia. I don't know. I was like, what? Anybody else find it weird, or am I too libtard for you guys? Oh, Heidi's just libtard. I'm retarded. I don't know about no libtard. That's the problem in America. The family structure has collapsed. It's collapsed here. People are really disillusioned that they get here and the family structure is here. Okay, the same with your man left you in America or left the women behind or whatever. And it's like, well, at least I'm not an afterstake. At least I'm not an afterthought. Your man moving on, blah, 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 blah. You're just, saying things like that. Anyways, back to my original thought. I do believe the family structure is falling apart here. They don't get divorces here. We talked about that. The same with the women, it's like, I don't think it mattered if they dropped into Russia or dropped here to the Philippines. You're seconds, honey, is what you are. Seconds. Nice photo of you and George on the wall. What year did you take that photo? That was right before we came here. So that was a camping trip. I had lupus for about 6 months, and I've been on steroids and having severe kidney issues and other things since. So, yeah, but that's new. It's fairly new. So I don't know, 5 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, the cats pulled down. We had 2 of them, and I didn't have it up there good enough, and then it ripped some of the tape. And then this is one of my favorite. We really did a lot of good camping trips and things together, and that was like one of my favorites there. We had a lot of fun. I'll never forget that camping trip. We took all kinds of junk food and did the camping fire. We have some of the footage that's on the members only. A lot of that stuff we turned over to members only because they sat at low numbers in the beginning of our journey and everything. So we let our regulars that are members see that stuff, and we did everything. We ate a lot of junk food. We drank a bunch of alcohol. We hung out. We played board games. I ended up farting all night, and George was like, "Oh my god!" And like we had only been together under 6 months or a year when we did that trip, and I was like, "He either loves me or he doesn't." And George was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "You're the one that fed me pizza and cheese." Like literally, he was going through the store throwing everything in the cart. We had everything on that table that night, and it was hilarious. So, and then it rained. We had fun. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. Like when it comes to, like most of the time it like every marriage, but we have more good times than bad times. But when he gets upset and does the silent treatment, then it's just like, okay, go on. Night before you run away. Yeah, we're about ready to wrap this up here. We still together. Like the tone of that. We still together. Yeah. Heidi, you should do a video about all the YouTuber expats that have split with their... Yeah, probably should, because it doesn't matter. People are going to talk that we talking about. And honestly, don't care anymore. It's, we try to have a lesson, which there is. Now, have we done gossip before? Yeah, of course we got stuff on the... We're not trying to be no professional. We ain't trying to put it like our reputation is on the line shit. What reputation? What reputation? But yeah, I think that gets to be, I don't like we did who we thought was good vloggers a while back. Now that was running out of content. It happens. And of course I would restructure that now because there's a zillion and one vloggers now in the Philippines. I just think they're all common now. We're common. actually were more original and more different, but I have seen more Western expats arriving that are with Filipinos. And so it's starting to pick up on who's actually here, but still retired and old and bitchy and cranky like me is still original. And cranky old George. Hopefully his ding ding. Here, Krusty. Come here, Krusty. Krusty, come here. Here, you want to say hi? Well, come say hi. There, Krusty. A really crusty dude. There's the donut boy. I called him Pumpkin Pie. Say hi, Pumpkin Pie. Want to say hi? Is it playtime? He's going to be a really big cat and really long hair. Look at the long hair on him. Hey, Krusty. Goodbye, Krusty. He's huge. He's only like 4 months old. She's about 2 months old. He's got to pull himself together. Hopefully his ding ding works. That's a good one. What really went on with Gio? What had happened is he said, "Bimage, make me a sandwich," and she said, "What you talking about? I'm on TikTok right now, and I'm having me a glass of wine." He goes, "Well, when you finish the 15th glass of wine, get me a sandwich." And she said, "What'd you say?" And that was it. She packed her shit up and left. Sorry, Gio, I'm still available. I'll get rid of George for you. I don't like wine. And I make sandwiches. All the single ladies. All the same. I'm here, Gio, when you're ready to come back to an American woman. I throw George out of this little 2-bedroom. I get rid of all but 1 or 2 cats. What you talking about, Willis? Right. Hey, Laura, what's going on? Hey, beeps. Let's see. 31 of you have actually done the thumbs up. There's 85 people. Take the time and do the thumbs up. Let me know where you are. Did any of you hit the snow or anything? Say your highs to me and kick that algorithm. Yeah, man. That night I did because we ate everything. Like, I think we had brought some pizza. We had cheese products, Cheetos. We had everything. We just loaded everything down that was literal munchies. And we just both kept eating all night, and we were drinking on top of that. And so I was, I guess, super comfortable. And I inside of that tent, finally, George, he ended up opening the tent, and it was at that point probably 50 something degrees. We went further up in Florida at that time, and it was cold where we were. And so probably about 50 degrees to me, that was cold. And so George, I unzipped it because I was hot because of the alcohol and junk food. And then he zipped it back down. I unzipped it. And we just went through this back and forth. What are you guys doing? So, yes, farting all night. I ain't going to kid that. Yes. Yes, lupus. SLE, and it does affect all my organs. So, I am on disability Social Security for multi reasons. So, and they consider me permanently disabled since about 2009, 2008. It was like the end of 2008, 2009. So, and then after I was on it for a while, there was no improvements. Other things were added. I've been sick since I was about 3 or 4 years old. So I have a bad autoimmune issue and other issues. So, yeah. But the lupus is, yeah, one of my big issues right now. I seen that video as well. Rent a 4-foot pod to sleep $700 a month. Oh, wow. Yeah, man, I'm gas. Tell about Geo. She's here. Hey, Mary, they're asking about you. She's due for her haircut here in a few days. She'll get her haircut. You want to say hi? She's right here. They're saying hi. What are you doing? You want to make Geo a sandwich? Huh? You tell them how we clipped the cat's nails yesterday and Mom got ate up by... Yeah, I can't really see. I had to do Pigsy, and Pigsy wasn't having it. She's got to be a 20-pound cat. And she did everything, used her feet like a rabbit and everything on me. And I was going to put makeup on. I said, screw it. I'm not going to hide where the cat scratched me. Mary's good. She has her day. Yeah, we call him, okay, his original name is Louis. And I like Louis because we called him Sonny. The Sun King is Louis of France, the King of France. So I just called him Louis all the time. And then after, when Thanksgiving came, I said, "You're the color of pumpkin pie." And I call you Pee Pee. And we'll call him Pumpkin Pie as a nickname. But Krusty stuck because when we got him on the streets, his ears were dried up. There was dry skin on top of his hair. His tail at the end is crispy. And so we'll just call him Krusty. So he just gets called Krusty Pumpkin Pie or Krusty Pee Pee. I can't make this up. Krusty Pee Pee. Krusty Pumpkin Pie is his name. I would have had cats before kids, man. So it had dudes before hoes, hoes before brew. Who knows how that actually goes. The heck, I'll be gullible listening to Geo's stories from anyone else. I'll treat them as comedy, right? That's exactly what happened. And we know Geo's going to be here. I expect to see Geo in about a year when he's done traveling and I done kicked George out. Now, see, that's weird. I'm not moving, but there's fluctuation on the camera. I'm not touching anything unless we're having a small earthquake, which would not surprise me. It's always jerking around. Someone's always jerking around in here. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say do your comments, your thanks, your praises, and say your hellos to George because that way he always goes through and watches these. So everybody say hello to George. If you haven't become a member, there are tons of extra videos. I think there's over 150 videos of different things of the past. And we are in the Christmas month. We do a couple giveaways on boxes as we do every year, just randomly and give out stuff. Like the last couple days of Christmas, you're going to have all the kids here and we buy extra candy and extra things and give them out. And we take all the money from our stickers for this month and put it towards that. So consider membership. There's different things in there. So appreciate it, guys. And thank you for being here. Night, 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 night. And so we'll see you Wednesday, another 2 days, and we're going to do the E-Trike coverage. And George is going to go into details. We'll probably even argue about it because I feel it's because they need to get the crazy drivers off the street. And he's going to talk about the senator and they're wanting to take all the bikes and do something with them. And so there'll be a big back and forth on this one. So, and there'll be a bunch of shit that comes up because I'm going to get some footage. There's going to probably be some bitching Filipinos because I know they're going to be mad because they're thinking they're okay. They're still selling these bikes like hotcakes in this neighborhood. And I'm like, but if you can't use it anywhere, it's because you intend to break the law to begin with. And is it really a law? So that's the next live stream, guys. So, all right. So talk to you later. Say goodbye to the bad guy. Say goodbye to the bad guy. Say hello. Oh, thank you, Michael. Hey, George. Hi, George. See you guys later.